When it comes to generating free leads on YouTube, there is no simpler strategy than what we're going to dive into today. Today, I've got the pleasure of bringing on Terrel, who's doing the most simple point and shoot property tours of new construction, and he's closing multiple deals every single month consistently for free with nothing but an iPhone. Today, Terrel is going to break down his entire strategy and how he's actually establishing these builder partnerships, how he's getting access to the properties, and how to make the workflow simple so that it doesn't take much time. This is the blueprint if you want to generate the highest quality, most simple leads on YouTube with passive prospecting. Now, before diving in, two quick things. Number one, I will link Terrel's YouTube channel below so that you can check it out and see just how simple this actually is. Remember, done is better than perfect, and you do not have to overcomplicate this. He is crushing it and doing it in the easiest way possible. And number two, I will link his calendar below in case you would like to partner with him to get his direct support for free to help you launch and scale your YouTube channel and start to close deals from builder partnerships as well. So without further ado, let's bring on Terrel and break down the blueprint of property tours and generating consistent closed deals from YouTube as a realtor. All right, Terrel, so really excited to have you here, man. You know, you've been on quite the journey when it comes to YouTube, and now you're seeing the fruit of your labor, which has been incredible to watch, and the fact that, you know, you're showing up to our calls and sharing the clients that you're getting and the momentum that you built with your channel. But I know it hasn't always been, you know, that kind of trajectory. So I'm excited to dive in, but I'd love to kind of start with your story, who you are, where you're from, what got you to this point, and then we could start to dive into the tactical strategies that got you, you know, the success that you're now having.
Okay, great. One, thanks a lot for inviting me. It's great to be here. Um, Long story short, let's see if I can keep this short as I possibly can. What got me on the journey, as far as like with real estate in general, was my uncle. He was an architect, still is an architect. Just had his 85th birthday, and so I studied architecture and drafting in junior high, high school, and being where we kind of got away from it, but worked some jobs. I retired from my other job in 2019, and so what got me back, got me into real estate is I actually wanted to work for a builder. And I applied to every single builder you could think of here in Texas. And I even had a couple of realtors. And so what they told me is get your real estate license, dive in, get you some sales, because I had no sales experience. And then they said, then if you want to cross over to the other side, then by you having some sales, then you might be able to get hired. And then my other realtor, she said, but you might like it on our side better. And she was right. I love being a realtor. Um, in fact, one of the things that had got my YouTube channel started, and I'm trying not to ramble too much, but I have a friend who worked for a builder, and he was doing a little bit of social media. I was doing, some Facebook stuff here. Not too keen on Instagram at the time, but I'm warming up to it. And found out he had a YouTube channel, and so I watched some of his content, but he kind of shied me away from it. This was like back in 2019, 2020, and I was like, dude, what's up with your YouTube channel? He's like, man, it's too much work. You don't want to fool with YouTube, man. Stick to this. I'm blowing up on TikTok and all that stuff. And then I saw some of the TikTok stuff, and I'm like, nah, too much dancing and jumping around and stuff. But I looked at his YouTube channel, and I said, man, he's got some really good content. Kind of like what you're doing, Mike, is educating people and stuff like that. But I noticed it didn't have a whole lot of interaction. But what I did click on is he had a house tour that he had done, and it exploded. And I'm like, I don't think he realized what he has right here. And I had some videos like that where I did some house tours, but I was doing it for Facebook. And I knew they were like, time sensitive on those smaller platforms. They don't want anything above a minute, 2 minutes. But I had a 5 minute video. So testing it out, I took that 5 minute video, uploaded it to my YouTube channel, just playing around with it. And the response was incredible. And I said, that's it. I said, all he has to do is do some more house tours and his channel would explode. So I toyed around with it, and my 10th video, that was my rocket launch right there. I said, okay, I'm on to something here. And one of the things that you taught me too are the analytics. And so when you go inside the backspace of YouTube, it shows you who your viewers are watching as well. Which brings us to Sumin Kim, because he was one of the individuals that my audience watches. So I started, going through his videos and a couple others there, and then I watched Suman's backstory. And I said, wait a minute, he and I are from the same stomping grounds. We're both from Southern California. And so I really dug into his stuff, and I said, wait a minute, I'm doing some of the same stuff he's doing. So I reached out to him, and it was a great conversation. He broke down a little bit about EXP to me because I had been to several brokerages before I joined EXP, and one of the things that I really took to with you guys is the modern way of doing it. I was not too comfortable with the door knocking, but you're a beast at it. You were a beast at it. So man, this guy, he's got a nice system and all that stuff. But just never comfortable with that. Did some cold calling here and there. Who are you? Why are you calling me? Click stuff. Oh well, keep doing that. But I really took to the videos, and it's like you said, get out there and just practice at it, get comfortable in front of the camera, and I did. It was fun. Now my son's 16, but at the time he was like 12, 13 years old, and he was my cameraman. And that's what made it fun. That's what made it more comfortable for me to get out there and do it. And so I hope I didn't go too much off on a tangent there, but that's what really, got me to the YouTube. I really love the YouTube format. And one of the things you guys have taught too is just like reading analytics, taking a look at the video, seeing what's working, what's not working. Um, and like I said at the time, I did what you call like throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks and stuff like that, because I really had no knowledge of it. And then after watching, some of your videos and stuff like that, after Suman had introduced us, and I said, okay, this is it. This is the group I want to be a part of. I said these guys they're killing it. They're a tight knit group, and I learned a lot from it. And the house tours are really working well for me. I'm getting some really good clients from it. A lot of relocation, mainly from out of state. Some transplants within Texas. Like some coming from Austin, some coming from San Antonio, but a lot out of state. And so I was like, I'm really enjoying this, and it's just kind of funny how things came full circle. From when I started doing architecture, and this is how it ties into new construction because that's what I really latched onto. I love working with the new construction builders. I've learned a lot from them. In fact, I continue to learn something new from them every day. And that's one of the things that I want to like teach others too. Like who might be looking to get into real estate and trying to find a niche. Some people like they're into investment and stuff like that. And that's where Connor and Ben Deal come in and stuff like that because our team is starting to kind of grow a little bit on our side, and we do have some investors, and so I point them in that direction. I have some newbies coming in, and I'm going to take them under my wing and teach them new construction because there's so much of it going on here in Houston or in Texas as a whole. You know, Sue Mans, and he's in the test of that. From all the new construction there in Austin and stuff like that. But it's a wonderful journey, man. It has its downs and its ups and stuff like that. But it's been an incredible learning process, and I wouldn't trade this for the world. And one thing that's kind of funny too is my old mentor at my old brokerage, because I followed him from like two different brokerages, and when I talk about you guys, he kind of took a look at you guys, and it's kind of like your story when you met Connor, and you're just kind of like, Well, my mentor, a year later, he come back around and said, T, that's what they call me. They call me T. He said, let me hear a little bit more about this EXP stuff. I said, man, just come to one of our mastermind, come to our EXP explain. And he watched you, and he watched Connor, and he's like, okay, these guys are on something, and he joined with me, and we're latched in again, and it's great because we never really broke that working relationship, even though we had split off and gone to different brokerages and stuff. Because I continue to learn from him, and then the funny thing is now he's learning from me because the social media thing and getting in front of camera and stuff like that, he's kind of shy from it, but he's warming up to it a little bit more. But the journey again is just it's awesome, man. And like circling back, because I know I'm rambling, but circling back to the architecture and the new construction build, I like seeing everything built from the ground up. So it kind of like reminds me of the old days, of the architecture, the drafting, and watching my uncle work watching him go from being a residential architect to now a commercial architect, where he's going all over the globe. And so he's following me, he's watching my stuff, and he's loving what I'm doing. And I told him about the team, just everything I'm learning in general. So this
Definitely,
is good.
dude. Yeah, well, I think it's awesome, man. I think, looking at how you've been able to approach YouTube and the fact that you've really leaned into property tours is something that a lot of people want to do, right? There's a lot of people that get excited about, what Suman's done. They're going to check out your channel and see what you've done. And, I think property tours is a really great way for the average person to get started. But one of the questions that I have for you before diving into your content workflow, um, is many people are curious as to how do you get access to properties to actually film. Like, are you approaching builders? Are you saying something specific? Are you approaching listing agents? So for somebody looking to get started with property tours, how are you going about getting access to so many properties to be able to film?
It's so simple, man. All you have to do is go to a new community. They have model home parks. They're anywhere from 8 to 12. There's a community here that has 18 different builders. It's crazy. And you just go and you introduce yourself. I'm a realtor. I would be, more than happy to, or is it okay if I, video your model home or some of your inventory? And that's one of the things that I really like to do are the inventory home tours in conjunction with the models, because the feedback that I'm getting from that is people are like, oh, that's cool, that you're doing the inventory homes because there's no model of it. And now we get to see, because these builders have so many different floor plans out there. And they may have like maybe 4 models that they put up there of different homes, the most popular ones. But some of the others out there, like I'll throw Perry Homes out there. One of the communities, they had like 36 different floor plans you could choose from. And so I just, randomly do, an inventory home there, and people look at that and say, that's cool. Is there a model of it? No, it's not. But you have this that you can look at and, visualize that. And the builders, I mean, they're really cool. They're like, sure, go ahead, because it's free advertisement for them. And so when you go out there and you video their inventory homes, it's a potential buy for you. And if that home happens to be sold already, well, guess what? They're still building that home. It's going to be maybe in a couple of blocks down or a couple of houses down, or even another community. And so there's plenty of opportunity out there. And I'm at the point now where builders are actually sending me their inventory sheets in my emails. I get a grip of them like every flipping day. And they say, hey, I got this brand new house is done. You can come out and do video and take photos and stuff like that. But just build those relationships with the builders. That's the key. One of the things I learned early on is that some of the mistakes that some of the realtors do is they might, not all of them, but they'll go in there and like, hey, I'm a realtor. I appreciate your referrals and stuff like that. Toss the business card, and man, that leaves a sour note with the builders, and that's something I don't do. If you're going to go that new construction route, circle back. Don't make it a one-time, trip. Like we say, this is a relationship business that we're in. Visit them once a week, once every other week. Let them get familiar with their face and build that rapport, build that relationship. And that's what I've done, with my builders. And so they're like, hey, we're watching your content. We love what you're doing. We like your processes and all that stuff, your videos. And that's about the best advice I can give you, but it's very simple. It's not very complicated at all. They're not going to say, no, get out of my model or anything like that. They will welcome you with open arms because, like I said before, it is free advertisement for them, and it draws business. And are you going to lose some? Yeah, something, because people, they think that they have to, they owe us something to pay us. No, no, no. Reach out to us. We can answer your questions, and really guide you in the right direction as far as incentives that the builders have. If you're interested in one of their homes, you just look at floor plans and stuff like that. But we're more than happy to take you and just get you familiar with the process of the build and all that good stuff. And so
That's awesome.
for the realtors, yeah, just get out there, let them get to know you, get familiar with you, and they'll definitely, hey, get on my mailing list. They'll put you on the mailing list immediately, and you're going to start getting inventory. Hey, we got a new community opening up, and they're going to then get out there, and they have a lot of realtor events for us as well. So it's great networking, and so It's kind of like what you've taught us. Don't just go to these networking events to just hang out and eat. Actually, interact with the other realtors there because it's referral business. You know, I'm on the north side of Houston, and my mentor, he's on the south side of Houston. He don't want to come all the way up here, so he's going to send, hey T, I got some people, they live on the north side, I want to go, and vice versa. Because Houston's so spread out, and you know how it can be. And so um, the networking events are great, and so like I said, just get out there and get familiar with the builders, get comfortable with them, and they're gonna definitely help you out. What you need to do.
Definitely, dude. I think, yeah, like establishing these relationships is so important. A lot of people are looking at it as just, a golden ticket to transactions and not looking at the relationship side of it, of what it could turn into long term. A lot of people are kind of approaching it as, maybe this is just a quick, easy way to get my next deal, not maybe this is a long term partnership that could bring me 10, 20, 50, 100 deals or more, like it's done for so many of our partners. But, on the note of it being easy, I'd love for you to kind of walk through your content workflow, what kind of equipment you're using, how you're recording it, editing it, thumbnails, that type of thing. Because one of the things that I love that you've done is you've made it simple, and I think a lot of agents are also um, getting overwhelmed because they're complicating it, right? And complexity is the enemy of execution, and so many people are just making it way more difficult than it needs to be. So do you want to kind of walk through, once you get access to a property, what are you using, how are you recording it, and how you get to the end of actually uploading it?
Absolutely, man. Let me show you all this equipment that I have here. Now, one of them I forgot and left it in the car. This is what I use right here. Now, I know you guys, a lot of you guys out there are Apple people. This is my Android though. This is my Galaxy S22 Ultra, and I use a DJI gimbal, and I have a little mic that I attach to it, and there's another piece, the I guess the signal for the mic that goes to the bottom of the phone there, and that's my microphone. And I get out there. It's that simple, and walk around with the gimbal. You know, to get comfortable with it, what I would do is I would take that, put the phone, put it on the gimbal, and just practice in front of it and get comfortable with it. But that's all the equipment that I use. I give a brief introduction because it's not about me; it's about the house. I'm in the video at the beginning, and then I'm in the video at the end. But the entire tour is about the house, the process, the way I plan it out. Is I get in touch with the builders, ask them when's a good day for me to come out there, video some content, especially with the models. Um, you generally don't want to go to the builders on the weekends. Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, that's when they have the most traffic. Generally, you want to go on a Monday. That's when they have their Monday meetings, some of them Tuesdays, and you have free reign of the model. Some of the builders even will lock the model up for you while you're in there, and you can just go to town at it. So that's really cool right there. And so I'll get out there, I'll video for, I don't know, 4 hours, maybe even 6 hours, depending upon how many homes that I do in one day. I try to do anywhere from 2 to 3 homes a day. That way I can build up enough to where I can batch, which is something you taught us. So do the videos, and then the upload process is so simple because it's just a matter of taking the phone, plugging in USB to a computer, and do a cut and paste onto a file. And that's what I do. I have files. The way I have it organized is broken down by community, and then it's broken down by the builder. And then just upload the files into the folder, the builder, and the community. And then I use a pretty simple software for the editing. It's called Movavi. I know a lot of people use Wondershare and stuff like that. But Movavi, if you're brand new, it's so simple for you to just actually drag the files over to it, drop it in there, and then you can just cross around and organize the clips, upload music. It's a very simple process, and if anybody is about to dive into it and wants some assistance with it, reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to show you how to do it. But it, like I said, my kid could do it. It's so simple, and that's my process. Like I said, spend a few hours, bring it home, upload it, There's an optimization process. So when you put it into the editing software, we'll get you some coffee or a soda or whatever while it's optimizing, because you really can't do anything with those clips then. And then once it's done optimizing, you can go to town. And I spend, depending on how large the home is, it could take me maybe a couple of hours to edit. If it's a 5,000, 6,000 square foot house, it's going to take me about 4 hours to edit, add music, put the description and all that good stuff. But I love it. Some people, like my mentor, Bernard, he hates it, man. He said, man, I don't have the patience for this stuff. I don't know how you do it. I said, Bernard, I love this stuff. I said, if you need some help, I'd be more than happy to. It's fun for me. I'm kind of techie, so it's kind of like like I said, it's fun. I'll stay up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes 5 o'clock a.m. sneaks up on me, and I'm editing. I'm like, oh wow, where the time go, but it's it's all good.
100%, man. Yeah, I think simplicity scales, and I think it's also important to find love in the journey and be able to use that as a creative outlet instead of getting overwhelmed by it. And there's always this transition where in the beginning you can get help from, like you said, your kid or somebody else, and then over time you're able to outsource it to a team and start to be able to scale. But another thing that many people are curious about is you know what has your success been like with these home tours? You kind of mentioned that the 10th video is one that really um, took off for you, and I'd love to kind of hear how people are reaching out to you. Are they calling you, texting you, emailing you? Is it a Calendly link? What does that workflow look like? And how are you actually taking people from views to clients and then close deals?
Man, Mike is some of everything, like you mentioned. In fact, I've gotten to the point now where I put Calendly links to all my videos. And one of the things I've also dove into is Google. And I really want to get really versed with that because it's evergreen content, like you say. But the people are reaching out to me. They're either calling me, they're texting me, they're leaving emails. I saw your video on this. I'm interested in this community or whatever the case may be. And I just do the follow up. Need to get better at it a little bit, but I definitely follow up with them, get that conversation going. Because in the beginning, you're going to be, oh, wow, they're reaching out, it's working. And get to know them, So, what is it that you liked about the video and stuff like that? They say, oh, this house here is perfect for us, has the right number of bedrooms. They start asking about price points and incentives and stuff like that. And then I'll give them some information, and some of them they'll ghost you, but for the most part, when they reach out to you, they're really interested in buying, and you just be transparent with them, and be you. Like you said, don't overcomplicate the process. Yeah, you're going to be a little bit nervous in the beginning and stuff like that. But from there, they're like, well, can we go look at the models? Or can we go look at this particular house? Absolutely. I make arrangements with my builders and let them know we have some people interested. We come out there and look at the homes. And one thing that I will tell you as a realtor, once we get to that builder, we get into the background because no one's going to know that product better than that builder. I mean, we may, but it's their job from that point once we get the client there. Don't overtalk the builder. And the reason why I say that is because it happens. It happens all the time. I've been to multiple builders and they tell me where the deal is blown up because the realtor jumps in and think they know more than the sales rep, and it just goes haywire. But yes, and one thing I will say is stick with it. It is a journey. The process of getting a YouTube channel up, it's simple. It's the consistency that you teach us, Mike. Stay consistent with, but don't get overwhelmed with it. Start off with a video or two. My process is I do one long form video and I do one short form video of that. And pick a schedule. I generally tend to post either on a Tuesday or Thursday, my long form, and then a short form on the weekends because that's when people, they scroll and look at shorts and stuff like that. And that's how I got the momentum going. And then, like you said, eventually it's going to go from, 2 to 3 videos and then 4, but don't overdo it and pick your platform. Mine is YouTube. Um, don't go crazy because I'm speaking from experience because I thought I had to be on every flipping platform: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. I got a Pinterest account too, man. LinkedIn, you name it, and it will overwhelm you trying to keep up with that and creating a calendar. Like, oh man, I missed this day because I was out videoing all this stuff. But and yeah, I went on another tangent. But that's the process right there. The clients will reach out to you. Be you. Don't try to be anybody else out there. I've tried it. Zoom in is zoom in. Mike is Mike. Terrell is Terrell. Sue be Sue. It just let it flow. You're gonna get comfortable with it. You're gonna get that content out there. People are gonna relate to you. You're gonna be like, I like that person. I like their personality. And then you're gonna get some haters. I got a few of them out there, but embrace those haters. They're fun, man. They leave some crazy comments sometimes, and you interact with it a little bit, and then other people would kind of chime in, like, "Yeah, what are you talking about? That's great. Fun stuff like that." And don't let them discourage you. Because they can discourage some people out there, especially if you're new and you be like, "Wow, I thought I really did a good job on this, and this person's trashing it." Then, um, but the clients, they're great. When they reach out to you, they're really interested in finding out more about the home, and that initial conversation is the warm up point because that's when they relate to you. You're genuine. You're being upfront, honest, and transparent with them. The processes, the prices, all that good stuff. And they'd be like, okay. And then they're upfront, and transparent with you. I have people say, hey, I want to make a move within the next month or two. And then I have people say, hey, I'm not going to be ready for anything for a year down the line. Okay, great. You take those people. You're going to have a CRM. A lot of agents don't use their CRM. Use your CRM. Put those people in your CRM and nurture them. I set mine up on campaigns where they're going to get a market report, and they're also going to get inventory homes within their price range. And that's keeping you on top of mind. So when they are ready to make that move, they're going to reach out to you. And that's what's happening with me. I have someone who's been following me for over a year. And she reached out to me. We went and looked at some homes last week. She's looking in a 55 Notary community. And that's something that's not a lot out there either. So if, realtors are thinking about doing, videos and new communities, new construction, the seniors, these empty nesters, they like these 55 Notary communities. And so I'm starting to get some draw from those as well.
That's awesome, dude. I think it's incredible and really good takeaways there of making sure that you embrace the long game. And I think that's where a lot of people are leaving so many deals on the table is that, if somebody's not ready to make a move within the foreseeable future, they kind of just ghost them. And that's one of the biggest catalysts to agents losing long-term deals and not being able to scale their business. They hit a plateau because they're always just looking at the short term versus embracing the people that are going to be ready in the future that would work with you if you just followed up and stayed in touch and not just became but remained top of mind. And also on that same vein, I'd love for you to kind of talk a little bit about the journey in the sense of how long have you been doing YouTube? How many videos have you put out? And how long did it take to get your first closed deal? Because I think this is going to set the tone for people that, see Suman, see you, see so many people and think, they just put out a video and suddenly they get leads coming lined up at the door. But this is a long play. You've been at it for a minute and now you're seeing the fruit of your labor and having, these great opportunities coming directly to you with clients that like, know, and trust you. But what did that journey look like in the beginning?
Oh, man. You know what? It's about timing. And it was great because, well, it started out great. 2021 is when my YouTube channel it was skyrocketing. And people were starting to reach out left and right, left and right. And what happened was, let's see, when did I get my first deal off of YouTube? I want to say it was about 6 months down the line because, like you said, the channel was taking off. But what hit the brakes was in 2022 when our interest rates skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And oh man, I had like 15 people in my pipeline, and all of them hit the brakes. I was like, oh no, they were like, we're gonna wait and see what these interest rates do. And I was like, oh no. But like you said, it's a long term game, and so it was probably about 6 months when I got my first deal. I know some people maybe 3, 4 months and stuff like that. To me, that's not a long time, because what's happening is once things adjust, momentum picks back up. And that's what's happening for me right now. All these deals that I'm getting right now this year are from people from last year that, pump those brakes, but they're coming right back. So some people I know they have instant, success. Don't think that you're gonna like, yeah, the Sumins and stuff like that. Some of those guys, they're like unicorns. Hey, they were spot on. The timing was perfect. Sumin's timing was excellent in my book. I followed him from stem to stern. I went back to his very first video and I said, "Yep, perfect time when he did it." And so don't get discouraged if you put up a video and oh man, I only got 13 views on it. Well, sometimes you don't need a whole lot of views. And one thing I tell people: do not get caught up in the vanity views because a lot of them are just looky loos sometimes. I know some people that had maybe 20 views on a video and closed 2 deals from it. So
Mm-hmm.
that video right there, and I know some people who's got like 100,000 views on one video and got nothing from it. Say, hey, it's a beautiful house, this, and this, but no deal. So please don't get caught up in that. But that's the journey, man. Like I said, about the first 5 or 6 months is when I got a deal closed from it. But it's you just stay consistent with it because, like you said before, some people they'll do it for maybe 2, 3 months and say this isn't working. No, it is working. You have. It's like planting a seed. You put a seed in the ground. That tree's not going to sprout up tomorrow. Maybe not even 3 months. You got to water it and let it break ground and continue to grow. And the same thing applies with YouTube. Right now I'm sitting at I think I just hit 704 videos on my channel now. But I was going crazy in the very beginning, and I was like, man, this is fun. I'm into it now. I want to get all the views I can get and all the people coming in. Don't do that. Pace yourself because you will hit burnout. And I did hit burnout. And so by last year. But like I said, the momentum's, picking up again and stuff like that. And just stay with it, you guys. Stay with it. YouTube is evergreen platform, so it's not like Instagram, Facebook, something like that, where it just gets pushed down. I mean, it's there forever, and that's one of the things um, that I'm glad you taught us too is how to optimize those videos. So you can get the eyes on it and keep the people coming and locked in on your channel. And I'm always working on improving and stuff like that. And I'm also going to experiment with different content as well because I did things a little bit backwards, from the training that you have in the Social Agent Academy, start off the videos, just the home tours and stuff like that. But I am going to start doing market reports and I want to test those and see how they do as well because it all ties in. People are looking at certain communities on my channel now and they want to know this and, interest rates and stuff like that. So another thing that you talked to, Mike, is community tours. And so I have done some community tours, but I'm mixing it up a little bit. So the way I'm doing it now is at the end of the house tour, I'm showing you your community and I'm showing your amenities and your conveniences and shopping and put all that together in the video. And so I've gotten some decent feedback from that too. It's a little bit more work. It's a little bit more work, but people really like that because they see where their house is. They see it's here. Oh, all this is in here. This is great. And so that's that's the journey, and it's continuing. And I'm just working on getting new ideas and stuff like that to improve my content and keep the audience interested and engaged. And that's pretty much it.
I love it, dude. I think it's, you've said so many good points, and I think it's really relatable for a lot of people to hear that it took you 5, 6 months to get that first deal, and you're 700 videos plus in, and that you do hit burnout. I've hit burnout as well, and you know. The most important thing is to be able to, like you said, pace yourself. And that's where some people get excited about YouTube and they think, okay, if these people did well with 2, 3 videos a week, I'm going to do a video a day. And you could do that for all about 2 weeks and then you'll hit burnout pretty quickly. And I think it's important to, like you alluded to, even batching your content. There's times where we'll be sick, or like you in Houston, there's a hurricane or you're traveling or whatever. And really, if you're not preparing for that, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to be out of content and you're going to be inconsistent, and that's not what we want. So I think your story, man, is absolutely incredible. It's so relatable to so many people. And just how simple you made it for yourself, right? Going back to that concept that simplicity scales, you made it easy to get out, shoot, come back, do your thing, and build the routine around it. So, the last thing I always like to talk about is, obviously you and I are partners, you, myself, Suman, and I'd love to know what made you kind of explore partnering with our group, the Wolfpack at EXP, and also what can people expect when deciding to partner with you and Suman as well.
Oh man, when I watched your EXP explain, because I started out with, I went to your channel first and then watched your EXP explain. And I watched you from the beginning to, I said, well, look at Mike. He was about 15, 16 years old on that first video. And I watched your growth, but it was like I said at the beginning, it's just that it's that family unit that you guys have. I just felt connected from Jump Street. Your your approach to real estate, the modern way of doing it using social media, the tools and resources that you created, outside of EXP. And I was like, man, this guy's incredible. And what you, Connor, put together, uh, Louis and Tharmilla with the trainings that you guys have on, for like, we use KV Core for our CRM, and the way Louis and Tharmilla do it is like, this is great. The training is great on that. Your training when it comes to marketing on social media, uh, gosh, there's so many people we can learn from. Jeremy, and the way that you have designed the Social Agent Academy makes it so simple, because it can be overwhelming, and that's one thing that I do want to tell folks. Um, when you join EXP, there's so much stuff there that you can get overwhelmed. And what you guys did at the Wolfpack, Social Agent Academy, Connor's channel, you simplified it. Everything's broken down into like courses, and you can bounce around. You don't have to like go in order. And that's another thing that I like about it too. If you want to learn about YouTube, it's broken down. If you want to learn about TikTok, like Noah, he's killing it with the TikTok,
Oh yeah.
and so if you have your niche, if Instagram's your niche, you have a training on that. And so after seeing everything that you guys have to offer, I said, this is it. This is the spot where I want to be, because you guys support what the agent, wants to do. And I have to throw this in there because at my old brokerage, and it's a great brokerage. I mean, they have some excellent marketing and everything, but they weren't supportive of what I wanted to do, which is social media and new construction. And I got to throw this story in there. I have to, Mike, because when I reached out to our trainer, she said, "Well, what are you doing?" Because I said, "Okay, I'm having some struggles. What is it?" She said, "So what is it you're doing?" I said, "Well, new construction, this and that." She said, "Well, I'll put that on the back burner." She said, "I'd get out there, do open houses." I said, "Well, I'm doing open houses." She said, "Well, who are you doing for?" I said, "The builders. The builders let me do it." She said, "Well, I wouldn't allow it." And I was like, "Wow." And the reason being is because we wanted everything in house. So I said, "Okay, well, let me go to my actual recruiter, let him know what's going on." I went to him and I said, "Man, I love new construction." And he said, "Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll put that on the back burner." I said, "Okay, that's the second person. Yeah, get out there, do some cold calling, do some door knocking, some other stuff." Okay, so no support there. I said, "What about social media?" No, they weren't about social media at all. And so you guys with social media, I loved it. Um, your approach to killing it without door knocking it, killing it without cold calling it, building your brand. That's the thing. And that's key. In order to build your brand, people got to see your face, warm up to you, and get to know you. And like you say, they can't do that if you're behind, you know, if you're not in their face. You know, cold calling is cool, but they don't have a face to it. You can sound chippy and cheery all day long, and you can have a scowl on your face while you're doing it. But I like it. Like I said, it took a minute to warm up, but it really didn't take that long because it's like, man, yeah, this is how people are gonna get to know me. They get to see the real me, and they can say, I like this guy or I don't. I want to work with this guy or I don't. And that's what I tell people. It's all about total transparency, and that's what I want. I want people to come to me because they can relate to it or not. And that's God. And then as far as EXP, it's great with the revenue share, with the trainings, because there's so much out there. And when you hear people who join the brokerage and then they're leaving because they felt that this other brokerage has something different, we're like, did you really dive into the brokerage? Did you really check out everything that EXP has for us? And that's one of the things that I was like, man, they have so many tools for us to scale and build our business. And whether it's paid ads or referrals or not, I mean, they have all kind of lead generations systems for us to tap into. If you're brand new, don't go broke. You don't have to go broke. With your lead gen, they have so many tools, and that's one of the things that I love about this brokerage. And and Bernard, because he shied away for a long time. We both did, in all honesty. Because I looked at EXP back in 2020, and my friend he had joined. He tried to recruit me. I'm like, dude, I ain't doing that. I said I did that with marketing back in '95. So, that was my take on it because of the way it was presented to me. And that's another thing. It's all about the presentation because the way it came across to me the first time was like an MLM. When I watched Mike Sherrard and the way he broke it down, I was like, oh, this makes a lot more sense than the other presentation. And so anybody that's thinking about, you know, joining EXP, maybe not necessarily Wolfpack, but joining EXP, make sure that you get a proper presentation so you really know what this brokerage is about. Because I've said it, Bernard said it, we're here for life. You know, we found our brokerage, we found our home, and we're not going anywhere else. This is it for us because the opportunities to not just build a great business, but build wealth within one brokerage, it's phenomenal here. And I got to go back to the Wolfpack because with you, Connor, and the rest of the Wolfpack team, all those I hadn't mentioned, the energy that you guys exude, it spreads out the entire team that we have, and that's what we need, because there are times where it's discouraging out here with NAR and changes within the industry, and all the agents that we've lost nationwide last year and stuff like that. Sometimes it can kind of bring you down, but the pack itself is a family unit, and you guys do stuff to keep us uplifted. The mastermind calls second to none, and anybody who thinks about even joining, you've got to dial into those mastermind calls because there's a wealth of knowledge there. I learned something new every day. The one we had yesterday was phenomenal. I love it. And I can't wait to dive into, some of the stuff we had discussed. And so you guys, you would never want for training, you would never want for support, especially from the wolf pack, especially from the pack. Um, I wouldn't join any other group within EXP. And what you get from me when you join me, one, you're going to get all my support. You're going to get all my training, all my education I've learned from the builders. And I got to circle back to the builders just for 1 second. If you are thinking about going into new construction, I can't stress enough, not just build that relationship with the builder, the sales rep, but once you're in, also, once your client, they pick the house and the building order from the group, stay in touch with the builder because they will cut us out. And what I mean by cutting us out, not from commission, but just information. And because I have a client who's sour with me right now because I missed 2 walkthroughs because I wasn't kept in the loop. I was used to my other builders saying, "Hey, we got this walkthrough here, we got this walkthrough," and they reached out to me, and that's that support that they're looking for. And when I looked up, we were closing, and I made it to the closing. And so when I asked him, "Well, how did I do?" That's when he came out and he was like, "Well, man, thought you were really going to be there a little bit more for us because I said, "Man, I had no idea. I did drop. I take ownership of that." I said I dropped the ball. I was expecting them to keep me informed on every step of the way, and they're not necessarily going to do that, especially with the construction managers. So be sure once you get that client, you get them in front of that builder, and you tell that builder, okay, I want to be CC'd on every step of this build process. And so that's what you're going to get from me. I'm going to teach you everything that I've learned working with these new construction builders. And I'm going to get you in Social Agent Academy so you can get all that training that you need there. You're going to need to know your CRM. That's going to be your best friend, And I can't stress enough all the trainings that Mike has, Miller, Louis, Jeremy, Connor. It's again, I can't stress it. It's second to none. Second to none. The best training out there.
I love it, dude. Well, man, I appreciate that so much. It's incredible to be on this journey with you, to see you on all these calls and, the energy and positivity that you bring to every one of them. And that's the fun part about this is that we get to be partners on this journey. We get to help each other out. It's free, but we get to kind of share our knowledge step by step to make sure that everybody has what they need to succeed
Yes,
instead
sir.
of hoarding information or telling people that, some way, shape, or form doesn't work, even though we know that everything can work if you're consistent and you do it the right way. So, Terrell, grateful for you, man. I appreciate you sharing, your experience, your journey, for being a part of this family. And again, guys, I'm going to link all of Terrell's incredible content below so that you can check it out, as well as his calendar link so that you can book a call and chat about partnering with him, so that you can get Terrell, Suman, and myself to help you take your con to the next level. So, Terrell, thank you again, my brother.
Thank you, Mike. I love you guys, man. This is a great journey, and I'm looking for many years more of it.
I can't wait. Well, guys, make sure you take action. Remember, done is better than perfect. Book your call. We'll see you guys in the next one.